What up, Bulls Nation? We're back with a live CHGO Bulls pod coming up for y'all right around the corner. Lots to get to today. Tre Jones contract official, signed, plus some new details on that contract. Meanwhile, still no deal for Josh Giddey. Is this a Bulls thing or is it an NBA restricted free agent thing? Bobby Marks has some intel there. We'll talk about it. Plus, Summer League practice is underway. GOAT was there today. We're going to hear from Billy Donovan III, their head coach, plus Bill Simmons throwing shade at the Bulls. We'll talk about all that next. What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into the CHGO Bulls Podcast. Coming to you live from our studios here in West Loop, downtown Chicago. We back. I'm Peck, Bulls_Peck. That's Big Dave. Bow. Bow. BAWL Sports. Will Go Gottlieb. With a dramatic pause, perfectly coiffed Will_Gottlieb, and the queen of the controls, the one and only Katie W. What up, Katie?
We're back.
We back, baby. Hope everybody had a great holiday weekend. If you do celebrate the old 4th of July, everybody have a good holiday?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was chill.
One
staycation?
thumb up, just like the button you guys should press.
That's right. Hit the like. Well, the NBA and its various teams and players were busy getting deals done, even after the big free agency days happened before the holiday. But we still got some more stuff going through. Still, one big thing that hasn't come through, and that's the Josh Giddey contract. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But first, let's talk about the fact that the Tre Jones contract did become official over the weekend, with the Bulls making the official announcement with a press release. And on top of that, shout out to Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype, who got a little bit of added intel on that deal, tweeting recently, the Bulls have a third-year team option on their 3-year, $24 million deal with Tre Jones. Sources tell Hoops Hype. Averaged 11.5 points. 57% shooting, 50% from 3, 5 assists, 3.2 boards, 1.1 steals in those 18 games for the Bulls, including 9 starts. Man,
that's pretty good.
Kind of remind myself when I go back and talk about Tre Jones that he put up numbers.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It was a small sample size, but think about per 36.
Yeah,
those would skyrocket.
Yeah.
So there is that interesting little wrinkle, another team option on the heels of the Bulls and the Lonzo Ball 2-year deal with a team option. Here's another one for Tre Jones. Gentlemen, what do we think about this? Because, the initial reporting was the Bulls really liked what they saw in Tre Jones. They want to keep Tre Jones if they can. They did so, but instead of the, aw shucks, of course they did player option. No. Team option once again.
Yeah.
Is AK learning?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was, thinking about, this deal originally came in like an hour into free agency, right? We were talking about it
during our live show.
We're almost going to end the show, and then it happened. So it was like the first hour. And when you see that number, it's like, okay, that's manageable. It's a pay cut from what he was making before. I've seen conflicting reporting on whether it's an ascending deal or if it's a flat. Spot Track right now has it at $8 million per year, so I'm going to go with that. Mm-hmm. That's 5.2% of the salary cap next year. Super manageable number. But then you look at what some of the other, especially smaller guards, and what their market was looking like, and $8 million was starting to feel like maybe a little bit of an overpay. Not egregious. Again, it's a very small percentage of the cap. It's not that big a deal. But Tyus Jones, his older brother, who I think is known as a better player, I don't know if he actually is, he got 1 year, $7 million. You look at some of these other small guards that either were traded or bought out. It's just there's not a lot of market for them. And so I was thinking maybe that was a little bit unnecessary to bring in a guy. Obviously, you trade Lonzo, but this is basically your fourth guard right now. Yeah. Do you really need to be paying more than the minimum for that? And I think probably the answer to that is no, even if you want to play with depth. The Bulls don't have any minimum contracts on their team right now. Everybody is making more than that, except for Julian Phillips, who's on a second-round exception. Everybody's making more than $1 or $2 million. And I just feel like you have to, if you're especially going to have depth and you're going to be paying more for some guys, you have to balance that out with cheap guys at the end of the cap sheet. And so is this a huge deal that you would give him $8 million? No. But I will say, like, the team option on the third year does make it way more palatable to me because typically when you go out in years, you're giving them a larger amount of dollars, right? So, like, Tyus Jones, 1 year $7 million deal. They probably overpaid him relative to what his market value was to get him on the 1 year deal. Last year, he signed a minimum with the Suns for 1 year. So he got a little bit more money to keep the deal short. And Tre got even more money than that, but also kept it long. So is there a world where this totally works out and it's completely fine and he looks great? Absolutely. He's probably going to exceed the value of this in terms of his production compared to the percent of the cap. But having that club option on the final year, I do think makes a difference in terms of flexibility, in terms of just learning from your mistakes. I think that's the key piece there. Is like the Bulls gave Patrick Williams a 3-year or a player option on the final year of his deal. They gave Javon Carter, Torrey Craig, all these guys that like, and I think it's because they want to be known as and looked at a player-friendly organization, but you can't do that to your own detriment.
Sure.
And so getting Lonzo on the player option, on the club option, I think made him more tradable. I think the same is true for Tre. That's a tradable contract, and I think it's a fine deal, even if it's maybe a slight overpay.
Did Drummond have a player option also?
Drummond did have a player option.
Okay.
Thank you for calling that out.
Yeah, no doubt. Glad they made this deal. It's a smart deal to me. When I heard there was a team option, I said, oh, yes, perfect. This is wonderful. This is basically a 2-year deal for you. You're taking a 2-year flyer on a guy that in the games that he played really showed out for you. And he's still young. And honestly, I don't mind the 4. I think it's – are you counting Giddey, Kobe, Ayo, and now Tre Jones as the 4
guards? Yeah.
Okay. See, I don't mind that at all. That doesn't bother me having that, especially having a guy who showed you he can be versatile and impactful when he's on the floor with any one of those players outside of Ayo. So that I think it's a good deal, man. Like it's basically for me the Lonzo Ball deal, but you're getting a free year in that third year because you get to make that decision and you get to evaluate it much better as far as he is concerned. Because with Lonzo, it's not if you keep him, it's not evaluation. You already know the player Lonzo Ball is. It's can he stay healthy?
Yeah.
So with this also, I think also the health plays into it also. Because remember that freak injury that he went out on, that he was out for the rest of the season about. Will that rear its ugly head? Well, this protects you, honestly, from that kind of thing. So it allows you those 2 years and that time to say, oh, okay, well, even if it does, if I want to trade him after this year, if I want to, make another go at it the next year, I can. But you have an option for that third year. It is all about options, and they are giving themselves options as a team. Yes, the Bulls are learning from their mistake. Not all of them. They're still making some of the same mistakes for sure, but they're learning from them in this instance when it comes to the contract. I like how they're negotiating their deals. The Bulls in the past, I don't know, it's probably the Lonzo contract I didn't hate. I just didn't want them to sign them, but I didn't hate the contract. This contract I don't hate. I like what they're doing with Giddey. We'll get into that as far as the contract is concerned. So they're being more shrewd and they're being tougher, which is what they need to do because, like I continue to say, they can't operate from a position of power in many instances, and this is one of those instances where they can, which is your actual money and your contract. So I think it's a good deal. I think Tre Jones has proven to be a really solid player. He wants to be here on this team, and, yeah, I think the Bulls did well.
One more thing on that. I just think, like, when you think about signing contracts, you have to think about, like, getting upside on those contracts, right? Like, you don't want to have, like, obviously, especially outside of rookie scale deals, you are gonna have to pay guys money, but you want to pay them an amount where their production is going to exceed what you're paying them. And so when you have a club option, that gives you the upside on the last year of the deal, right? It's a 3-1 compared to a 2+1, where the player would have the option to pick it up. If he plays super well, exceeds that contract, and then wants to get out in the market, you still have the ability to keep him around at a number that's going to be a team-friendly deal compared to him saying, actually, I'm playing way better than this. I can get back out on the market, and now I'm in control of the situation. Like, this is how, like, team-friendly this is how smart organizations create team-friendly roster and cap for themselves. Yeah. And you look at teams like the Orlando Magic who have, like, this affinity towards descending contracts where you pay a little bit more upfront and then the contract gets smaller over time. As the cap rises, that becomes really beneficial and allows you to have flexibility. And I think that the Bulls have probably learned their lesson from a couple of player options where now, the Zach LaVine player option. Like, they couldn't trade him sooner. If it was a team option on that last year, and obviously they weren't going to give him a team option on a max deal, but just as an example, like that deal could have been tradable for more value. And I think that's why they were able to get anything for Lonzo, because they had control over the contract, and that gives you upside, and that is what teams want, especially in this new CBA where everything is so every dollar spent that's not good money is so damaging. And so to get this, I think, puts the Bulls in a much better situation to get upside on that last year of the deal, or maybe they just want to waive him after 2 years and reset, and they can do that too. And so I think that's just a smart way to do business, and I would hope that the Bulls continue to operate this way, getting team options, even like the third year of Vooch's deal. Like, I mean, they didn't give him a player option on that. I think that was the negotiation. They wanted a team option. He wanted a player option. They settled for 3 years guaranteed. Like, how much more movable would he have been if he had a team option on that final year?
And even if he just played to his average, that contract still doesn't look bad. So, yeah, they win in this instance.
Shout out to Dysfunctional in the chat who said, did Will just imply that our organization was, quote, smart with lots of question marks?
No, they did a smart thing.
Hey, yeah, there's a difference there.
Yeah.
Travis McKnight saying Tre Jones deals up there with Eye on the Kobe deals, great value.
Good
John
value,
saying, I love Tre Jones. Best thing AK has done in years. Jones going to fly. All right, so we got a lot of Tre Jones optimists.
Yeah, Tre was great.
He was.
I mean, dude, he balled out.
But I think that's the
18
thing,
games.
is like you have to be careful about how much you believe. I mean, we've talked about like how much do you believe Giddey's, final, and I think there's like real stuff to take away from that. But like Tre's played an even smaller sample. He played 18 games, started 9 of them, 25 minutes per game, and he shot a career best in every single category. Like, I just don't know that you can really take away anything from that other than he played well with you for those amount of games. But it's like you can't pay him, as if that was who he is, because he's got 5 years of experience where that was not necessarily the case.
Correct.
I think he's a really solid player. If he's your fourth guard, I think you're doing well for yourself.
Right.
And so I don't have any problem with bringing him back. I really like Tre, and I think this was a good deal. It's just good to see the Bulls handling their business in a way that is more encouraging and favorable to the team.
And what you were saying about even if it's not a descending contract, but if it's an ascending salary cap, it'll be a descending percentage of that salary cap if it is flat, right. Which is what SpotTrack has Tre Jones listed at right now, $8 million each of the next 3 years. With a team option on top of that, it's still there a little bit of an eyebrow raise, because after Isaac Okoro brought in with Lonzo having the team option, Okoro guaranteed money in the 26-27 NBA season at $11.8 million, and now 3 years instead of 2 years for Tre Jones. AK did all that talking about like, hey, man, our books are going to look super clean in 2026. That's part of the plan. Everybody hang tight, 2026. That's, the Bulls are back, 2026. And look, am I skeptical as a Bulls fan that was ever going to amount to anything as far as being big-time players in free agency? You're damn skippy. I'm skeptical about that because they've never been big players in free agency. So to me, it's not that big of a concern that we now have sort of a veering away from clean books in 26, clean books in 26 with the Okoro trade and now Tre Jones on top of that. It is still just a little weird, but I'm like, who are they going to sign anyway? That's sort of my defeatist attitude right now as a Bulls fan.
Well, I wrote about this last week before the 4th of July.
Like it is.
About ways that like they can use their cap space or their projected cap space to their advantage now.
Yeah.
I agree. This is not a Luka Doncic, De'Aaron Fox max player destination right now. What? Not only because I think that the situation is not really conducive to those kind of players, but also the money is not there. And I went into more detail about that, but like there are other ways that they can really help themselves by using this cap space that's not in free agency.
Spending, not conducive to those players because spending big and trying to win. Not conducive to those names, those biggest names in the NBA. Great job, Dorfs. Love you. Oh, miss talking about you so much. All right, let's knock out some ads. When we come back on the other side, Josh Giddey, what is going on?
It's talking about him, too.
Hit the like. Today's show brought to you by Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. A place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. It's your one-stop shop for all of your cannabis needs. They have an expertly curated menu featuring over 100 different strains to choose from. That's right, I said 100! offering easy online ordering plus in-store pickup. Even if you are a pro, a connoisseur, they probably have something that you haven't tried before. Check out the Wellness Advisors Staff Picks collection for something new. Visit Sunnyside.shop for Bright Buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Just use promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, Bright Buys every day, only for 21 and older, and Illinois MedCard holders. And don't you worry, existing customers, they got something for you too. Just use promo code CHGO50 for 50% off one Cresco Labs brand item.
It's that time, y'all. Barbecue, drinks, country music. It's only one place you can do all that. The Windy City Smokeout, July 10th through the 13th, y'all, and it is back in effect in Chicago. 4 full days of country music, ice cold drinks, and that award-winning barbecue. All the barbecue your stomach can handle. Let's get more summer than that, Peck?
No.
He says no, but hey, nothing beats that outdoor concert in July. And if you still need tickets, Thursday and Friday are still available. You can grab them right now. Country's biggest stars like Bailey Zimmerman, Old Dominion, and of course, Dylan Gossett are going to be lighting up the stage. Don't miss out on the best weekend of the summer. Grab your Thursday and Friday tickets right now at WindyCitySmokeout.com.
Hey, man.
Main man,
Your
Dylan
main man.
Gossett,
We
baby.
roll along CHGO Bulls live on Tuesday, July 8th. Hanging out, if you're hanging out in that YouTube chat, thanks for being here. Hit that like button if you didn't do it during the ad break. Make sure you also subscribe to that CHGO Sports YouTube channel.
Yeah, no, Katie's right. Like, it's a lot of people in here watch. Shout out to y'all for being here. Really appreciate you. The likes, guys. Come on. You can do better than that.
Like,
It's right there. You can get that
see.
out, man.
I didn't check to see what the ratio is looking like. Oh, this is a terrible ratio
Yeah,
of
come on,
viewers to
guys.
likes.
Come on. You can do better than
What
that.
if I say that I totally believe in the Bulls' direction and start saying nice things? Will I get more likes for that? Or
For 3 seconds, say something nice for the Chicago Bulls. I'll tell you right now. Ready, set, go.
it's my job?
There was 2 seconds. He couldn't even do it for 3. He couldn't even do it for 3.
Wait, you said 3 seconds?
I said 3 seconds.
I heard 3 words.
No,
So
3
that's why-
seconds. 3 seconds. Do it again. 3 seconds. Ready?
Okay.
Set, go.
Made my childhood awesome. Like, really, really awesome. There you go.
There you go. All right.
Okay.
Next, we'll work on present day.
There you go. Speaking of
Tune in
present
tomorrow.
day, Josh Giddey, where you at? AK, where you at? This was from Anthony Slater of The Athletic over the weekend, who said it's not just a Giddey thing. It's an NBA thing. He was talking about Kuminga. No significant traction with Kuminga in the Warriors front office over the weekend per sources. Restricted free agency around the NBA remains ice cold.
Freezing.
Conversations and little action. Then Bobby Marks, ESPN capologist and NBA expert, phrased it this way when he was doing one of his little quick hitter videos on the NBA on ESPN YouTube channel. Katie, if you want to throw that one up there, quote, "Let's keep an eye on the future of Josh Giddey in Chicago. I made a joke during our production meeting saying that they are about a Gulf of Mexico apart. Figure that out." And if you haven't watched that from Marks, I encourage you to go watch it because, the quote is
out.
one thing. The tone he
Yeah,
delivers
for
it in
real,
is
yeah.
even funnier.
That's some stank.
So, again, a national guy, not a local guy, but there is some intel there as far as Giddey and the Bulls and where they are in those negotiations.
Yeah.
I mean, Goat, are you hearing similar things as far as they're still a ways away just because restricted free agents are kind of in a bind across the NBA right now and it's not just Josh Giddey?
Well, I think what's interesting about this situation is that like the players are still kind of holding their ground because this isn't a situation where it's like the teams have any real reason to give up ground on their end.
Sure.
And also, it's not like any of these teams are now like doing moves that create a ton of cap space to where they could maybe be players and put some pressure on the Bulls to raise their offer. And so at a certain point, like I think maybe the Bulls give in a little bit and Giddey gives in a little bit, and that's just where it gets done. But it is kind of surprising. And you'll recall like years ago when Zach LaVine signed the offer sheet from Sacramento, that happened over Summer League. So maybe it gets done in the next week. I know the players like love to go, especially the veterans, love to go watch the Summer League games and cheer on the rookies and the two-way guys. So I would imagine like it would be nice for Giddey to roll up to that with a new $100 million contract
Sure.
and, 125, whatever it ends up being. And, sit on the sideline with his friends and like just kind of bask in that moment. Cause that's a thing. So, everything seems like both sides want to get something done. It's really just about the number. KC was saying the other day that he's never heard 30 from the Bulls side, so like he doesn't think it will be that much. And there's just, again, no reason to do that. We talked about upside with Tre Jones. There's no reason. There's no upside with $30 million.
Yeah. Is
that maybe going to look like a fair deal at some point? Sure, it could. Is there any downside in that? Absolutely. And so there's no reason to really give him that money because there's no market for that. And so if you're Giddey, I think at a certain point you have to realize, yeah, maybe I feel like I'm worth more, but you're worth what a team will pay you. Yes. And there's nobody out there that can pay him the way the Bulls can. And so why would the Bulls pay more than what they need to? And I think that's just like the reality of the business of basketball.
That's simple math. Like that's really simple to me to say that. But also, I think Josh Giddey still has things to prove. And the Bulls are right to be cautious in that. Like, your best thing that we've seen since you've been here was in the second half of the season with about 15 games where you went crazy. You know what I mean? He went insane, man. Triple doubles, game winners, half court shots. I mean, all this stuff. It was amazing to watch. But it still was 15 games because what they do remember is your first half when you were averaging like 12 points a game and not shooting so well and having to get put on the bench.
Yes. Oh, wait, no, that happened right before the half-court heat.
That's true. That's true.
My timeline's mixed up.
That's true. That's true. It's crossed. You got crossed. Wires get crossed.
Right before that happened.
But he had to get put on the bench. He had to sit down because his defense was that bad. So, yes, he found himself later on in the season, which is great. Finding yourself is great, which is why you're going to get, a nice amount of money on this contract. But we're not going to – I don't think they should pay them like, dude, you proved this all season. That's what $30 million is to me, in my opinion, is that, dude, you've been doing this all year long. If this was Giddey doing this all year long, the argument would be his, honestly. Yeah. The argument would be his all day long, and I'll be like, yeah, bro, you're going to have to give him that.
I would concede that if that were the case.
Come on now. And this is Mag Hater Peck over here, ladies and gents, telling you he is conceding to this stuff because it's the truth, because it's just business, man. It is simple things. So for 15 games does not warrant that. I mean, you can look at Tre Jones the same way. Like, Tre Jones played out of his mind. They still were like, hey, that's nice. Here's a team option, and here goes $8 million a year for you, sir. We really appreciate, what you did. You paid them, dog, for that reason and that reason only. So I'm not mad at Josh Giddey for saying I want $30 million. He should come out here and say I want $30 million or $32 million or whatever else he wants.
Yeah.
And then you meet somewhere in the middle with the team that you're negotiating with. That is exactly how it should work. I told you before, I don't mind this taking so long. I'm enjoying the fact that it's taking long. Yeah. But I know AK wants to have this done by the time Summer League is kicking off. So when he goes on and he gets to talking, he can say, hey, yeah, we went to a negotiation, but we got our guys wrapped up. We got our team. We're ready to go. He doesn't want to have to answer questions on why this still isn't signed. So both of these guys want to get it done. I think they will, but they're going to have to settle, man. And I think it's going to be between 25 and 28 is where they're going to land at.
And speaking of getting this deal done, hopefully between now and when Summer League kicks off, which is Friday, Bobby Marks had some great additional just details and intel about qualifying offers and some of these restricted free agents that the league is keeping an eye on, Josh Giddey included. Katie, if you want to put that up on the screen now. So this was Marks's notes on restricted free agency. Speaking of that timeline and Summer League approaching, the last date for teams to pull qualifying offers is July 13th. It is July 8th today. So that day is rapidly approaching, and it will be while the Bulls are out in Vegas playing Summer League games. Where will AK be? Negotiating with Josh Giddey's people or in Vegas? Or both?
Or both, yeah.
Bobby Marks also noted that spanning the past 10 seasons of NBA basketball and NBA contracts, only 5 collective players have signed a qualifying offer. That is not even one player per year. Half that.
Yeah.
Signing qualifying offers. It is becoming a rare and rare thing to see in the NBA. He also had some notes about a player's ability to veto power on those qualifying offers, any trades, but losing bird rights with their new team if they are traded. So the timeline about when they will figure this out, we know that July 13th date is there. I would be shocked if the Bulls pull the qualifying offer, because if I'm the Bulls, hoping Josh Giddey and his management get frustrated not finding the common ground they're looking for in these negotiations, then ultimately decide to sign that qualifying offer and play a prove-it season.
Yeah.
And then go get yourself paid big, whether it's in Chicago or elsewhere as an unrestricted free agent when a bunch more teams have money to throw around next summer.
Yeah. Lots more money than tossed around. Like what Juan Miller's saying, I don't believe Josh wants $30 million. I believe it's his agent. That's cool. That's his job. My agent is supposed to get me the best deal possible.
I'm also guessing Josh Giddey doesn't, not want $30 million a year.
Yeah, so you sit back and you let your agent do the job and negotiate and get you that point. But regardless, he wants a check and a nice one and a handsome one. He's going to walk away with one, but your agent's job is to get you obviously the most money possible.
And yeah, I mean, like, teams are preparing for free agency next year because more teams are projected to have money come off the books. But as we've seen the last couple of years, like, teams typically don't let their guys get to free agency, right? They sign these extensions and then they ask out or they ask to be traded, and teams figure out a way to make that happen, whether it's sign and trade, extend and trade, or like, what I think will happen with Kuminga is that he re-signs and then they flip him at the trade deadline because there's not a lot of suitors out there. And so just because there are teams out there that project to have space now does not mean that they will have space next year. It also could mean that because a lot of money is coming off the books, that there are a lot of free agents out there who will be competing for that money. So just because there's money next year on the market does not necessarily mean that there's going to guaranteed be a bigger offer for Giddey. So I've seen a couple of things that I wanted to dispel about this. Okay. Number one is there is a risk of, if you're the Bulls, there's a risk of Giddey playing on the qualifying offer next year. If you lowball him to a point where he, feels insulted, whatever, takes qualifying offer, and maybe that number is $20 million, he's still sacrificing $9 million in that first year by taking the qualifying offer compared to signing a $20 million a year contract. Mm-hmm. If it's $25 million, the offer, then he's sacrificing $14 million. That's a lot of money, and that counts towards whatever the contract that you end up signing accounts for, right? And so I do think that matters here. That's a loss that, if you're going to assume the risk of, taking this full season, what if he gets hurt? Like, what if there's no money out there for him? And then on top of that, you're asking him to take $9 million or $14 million of a pay cut this year. That's a big risk for the player. And then the other thing I've seen is Patrick made 18. They gave him $18 million. You can't give Giddey 20. Or Emmanuel Quickly got 32.5. You can't give Giddey $20 million because a starting point guard who's not as good as him made $10 million, $12 million more. Well, while there is a precedent for that number, there's also a precedent that number is not a good contract. And if you're the Bulls, you can't just give out the number that another team gave to their player because another team gave it to their player. You have to give out a good contract. And that's why you saw Jalen Suggs sign for less than Quickly and take a descending deal. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with either party here wanting to get the best for themselves. At the end of the day, they are going to have to meet in the middle somewhere. I feel like the conversation has been super toxic and one-sided on the extremes of give him 30 because you're afraid he's going to become an all-star, and then you're going to lose him for nothing, or this guy thinks he's not a real player, so just give him the qualifying offer and let him walk. I think the truth is in the middle. They've got to come to a good number. I would start the negotiation at 20 and be willing to go up to 25. I don't think there's really any real reason to go beyond 25. If they went up to 30, I think it would be unnecessary, but I don't think that's going to kill them. So I think 22 and a half to 26, 27 at the very, very most is where this thing will end up. Yeah. Probably 25. And I think that's a fine deal for both sides.
I agree.
Yeah. The point you brought up about Pat, and I've seen a lot of Bulls fans mentioning that recently, whether it be in our chat or on Twitter, is you can't be, only paying Josh Giddey $2 million more a season than Pat, because look what Pat is, and hey, Giddey might be good. Just because you overpaid a guy doesn't mean then your logic has to be, well, we also have to overpay this guy whose contract is up because their contract numbers can't be too close together, because that's not fair. Not fair to Giddey, but I don't think an NBA front office would ever feel that way or use that logic.
This isn't that kind of business. In the NBA, there is a salary cap. You can't just say this employee is more valuable to us than this employee, so he gets paid more. You have to operate within the cap market, what kind of money is out there in the ecosystem, and what is going to be good for you at that time. And you have more information now that tells you this kind of money is not good. We can't just give that out because we made the mistake before.
Guys, what if we get a Josh Giddey contract news break emergency pod while we're in Vegas?
We
could
might.
Happen.
Okay.
We sure might.
We could.
I don't know if I would like or dislike that. Because, I mean, at least we'd all be together. It's not like,
Right.
But also, we're in Vegas.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we got to knock out some ads right now, but when we come back on the other side, we're talking Summer League practices and what we got in store for y'all. Summer League. Hit it.
Summer League. For those of you who don't know, Four Seasons came to my house this weekend.
They did?
What? Oh, my God. You're so surprised to hear this for the very first time. But they showed up.
Can't believe that.
Can't believe it, right?
I've never heard that before.
It's crazy, dog. Oh, my goodness. Shout out to Lori and our sales team who hooked it up for me. And
Flex.
Four Seasons took care of your boy. Needed a new AC condenser. They're going to give me the whole shebang bang for a nice little price. And they can do the same for you. Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric, having served Chicagoland for over 50 years. You can save up to $4,000 on new comfort systems with Four Seasons. New AC units from $39 a month and an AC furnace combo for $57 a month. Your trusted local experts are Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com, because for all the right reasons, Peck!
Call 866 Four Seasons.
Deep this time. All right.
Gotta switch it up. Today's show brought to you by Cash App. Making money move should be easy, and that's why there's Cash App. It's fast, safe, and just way more personalized than other apps out there. No extra hoops to jump through. No extra stress. All the tools are right there to help you cash in. Plus, sending money with Cash App actually feels safe. They look out for you if something seems sketchy, something strange in your neighborhood. Who are you going to call? Not the Ghostbusters. Call Cash App. They are always on the lookout for potential scams and scammers. They'll warn you, make you think twice before you hit send. If it's like having a personal bodyguard for your cash. That's incredible. For a limited time, new Cash App users can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real, no catch. Just download Cash App and sign up. Use our exclusive referral code CHGO Bulls in your profile. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. And we're back rolling along on Tuesday afternoon, CHGO Bulls Pod, live from our studios. Hit that like button if you didn't do it during the ad break. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. Let's get up to those triple digits. Shout out to Juan Miller that I'll watch emergency pods anytime, any day. CHGO rocks.
Appreciate you, Juan.
Also, shout out to our pal Joel Hernandez in the comments. He said, Four Seasons
Joel.
ad always makes me smile. Thanks, guys.
Me too.
You are welcome. Don't thank us. Thank Four Seasons. You can thank all of us. All right, guys. So, Summer League. We are getting close. We also have already seen some of like the pre-Summer League games over the last few days. The California Classic or whatever it's called. Yeah. Dylan Harper's already balled out. Or was it? No, it wasn't Dylan Harper. It was
Ace.
Via Edgecombe.
Edgecombe.
Yeah,
Edgecombe had himself a game.
He did.
In
He
one
was
of
talking
those
crazy, too.
first
Yeah.
preliminary Summer League games. But
Yeah.
when it comes to the Bulls, our team, their first game is this Friday out in Vegas. We are all heading out to Vegas this Friday. CHGO Bulls Summer League Year 4. Who's ready for it?
Year 4. Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
crazy.
22, 23, 24,
You're absolutely
25.
Absolutely right.
First time CHGO Bulls Summer League for our fearless leader, Queen of the Controls, Katie Duffy. Katie, are you excited?
I'm pumped, but I feel like there's a lot of pressure because Will has been really excited to see what I'm like outside.
I'm
of
really
work.
promoting the concept of Vegas Katie.
Oh, yes, you are.
Yeah,
And
you're
The
gonna
young
be
people would
so
call it you're like
disappointed.
rizzing her up or whatever, right?
No,
like-
no,
Probably
that
not.
was
It's not that, dude.
that
Probably
was
not.
the wrong way to use Riz.
Yeah.
I
Nope.
thought, doesn't that mean like bragging for somebody or like
No.
hyping them up or something?
That's like hitting on someone.
Yeah.
That's not what's
oh,
happening.
all right. Well, see, nah, I still have no idea what the kids are saying.
No,
I just
it-
think she's going to have a good time. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think Summer League is just a blast. It's a very cool experience. The players are walking around the gym. Like executives are there. You get incredible access.
Yeah.
It's like watching high school basketball games at like a small high school gym.
Yeah.
But with NBA players, and like Josh Giddey and Kobe White will be sitting courtside, and like DeMar and Zach were there. You know, it's like, it's just a very cool experience. There's fans from all over. All the teams are there. It's just a lot of fun. And then on top of it, it's in Las Vegas, which is a good time. And I think we're going to just have a lot of fun. We're going to do shows there every day. We're going to get great footage from behind the scenes stuff. Emma will be with us. taking a lot of cool videos, doing some cool social media posts. We're going to have an Airbnb where we're going to do shows every single day. It's just going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait.
Back to that Airbnb life.
Yeah, I'm ready to
Pool
watch.
in the backyard.
I'm ready to watch all the games. Like, I like going there and seeing what other games are going on and just sitting down and watching and finding out about new players I probably didn't have my eye on at all, or somebody I had my eye on and getting the chance to, check them out and see how well they're playing. So, yeah, I mean, I love that aspect of it, of just game after game after game after game. Like, it's a great thing.
It is.
I remember a couple years ago we watched. It was like, I think Amen Thompson's rookie year, and it was like him, Tari Eason, Cam Whitmore, and they were just like running up and down, dunking on everybody.
Yeah.
So it's just like you get to see like the future of the league, and I really do think that the really good players stand out in this setting, and that's why I'm excited to see what Modest can do as a second-year player, as a lottery pick who should have the ball in his hands a little bit more, according to Billy Donovan, the third today at practice. Like, it's going to be really cool to see him have that opportunity because we didn't always get to see that during the regular season, and I think this can be a real springboard for him into next year, where he takes on a little bit more offensive role, a little bit more usage, a little bit more creation, and starts to expand who he is. And I think that, especially when you see those things come to fruition in Summer League, it can really set the stage for what you look like during your second year.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And also, as I say every year to the fans out there, if y'all see us out there and y'all see us at the Thomas and Mack Center, man, come on up, say hello, take a photo, all that cool stuff, bro. Come talk to us about whatever you want to discuss about the Bulls, man. But yeah, we're honestly there for y'all.
It's always
wouldn't
cool
be there without y'all. So
over the years when we've been in Vegas for Summer League, and people will come up to us and be like, "Yo, fan of the pod, love the show, whatever."
Yeah.
Some of whom are Vegas, natives or locals who live there. And are there, and
the
just happen
waiter.
to be
I
Bulls
remember
fans.
The waiter was the craziest
waiter,
thing.
yeah,
That's
one
ever
night.
happened.
Yeah.
Shout out to other Matt who came up to us in the concourse one year.
Yep.
Like a bunch of people. And it's like Bulls fans. Some of them are just traveling to Vegas to watch Summer League games.
Yeah.
Because they're that passionate. We want to get our first look at Noah Essengay and Lachlan Olbrich. It's like, dude, respect to you, Bulls fans.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be good. Diego, don't die of heat stroke in the chat. Good advice, always good advice. I checked. We got some highs in the 110s coming up while we're out there in Vegas.
Awesome.
Everybody stay hydrated. But yeah, as Goat said, lots of great content. So Friday will be a travel day. The Bulls' first game is Friday, like late afternoon Vegas time. Goat and Emma are going to book it right from the airport to get there for that media access. And then Dave, Katie, and I will be shortly behind them. We're not going to do a live show Friday night because it's a lot going on travel day. But so Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we're going to have live full hour-long shows for y'all from Vegas, breaking down the games and everything else we see and hear going around those Summer League vibes, plus some extraneous content around that. And then we head back home to Chicago on Tuesday. So it's going to be a great trip, as it always is. Looking forward to it. If you're there, hit us up. And make sure you tune in to all the content. So, as Goat just teased a second ago, Billy Donovan the third,
Tre,
once again running Summer League as its head coach, was at practice today talking to Goat and his fellow members of the beat, talking a bit about Modest, who we have heard we will see play in at least one of these Summer League games, and Modest handling the ball more. Some ball handling responsibilities being increased. And Billy Donovan the third talking about that and how it's going. Katie, if you will.
In terms of like Modest and Noah in particular, what's kind of the plan as far as letting them handle the ball, create some of their own offense? I know you guys want to get up and down and transition, but
so talking to some of the front office, they would like to see Modest maybe as more as a secondary handler. So we'll put him in some pick and roll actions as far as ATOs. We have some sets in there that we can kind of get him the ball in space where he's comfortable. I think the next thing for him is just because the game has slowed down for him so much already. But it's more so being, can he be that secondary ball handler, secondary playmaker when he's on the field?
And what does he look like in that role so far?
It's been good. It's been good. Yeah. Obviously it's a work in progress for him, but he's really made strides. And the one thing I love about Modest is he wants to be coached. He wants to be great. He loves the game, loves the work, and I'm really excited for him this summer league because ever since the season ended, like he's been here in Chicago, and he's been in here like every day. So I'm really excited to see that work kind of come to fruition.
Is there an expectation for just generally second-year players, lottery guys, to take a big step forward in terms of like production and just pace of the game, kind of seeing take over a little bit?
I think every player's experience and journey is different, and obviously, with Modest, with the success he had last year, hopefully that does carry over. But now it's come to the point in time where the league's kind of figured you out a little bit. You're not a rookie anymore, so how are you still going to be impactful with the opportunity that you have? And but I think he's going to be ready for it this upcoming season.
When you talk about him making that jump to being a secondary ball handler, what do you think are maybe the areas of his game that need to elevate the most to be able to hold that down?
Well, one, I think is just making the quick decisions piece as far as limiting his dribbles, limiting his steps, because it does have the tendency, especially in practice, there were a couple times where he would over dribble. But that's, this is the first time he's really playing that position. And then today he had a couple plays where he made the right decision, got off the ball and got guys shots. He's more than capable of playmaking. And then obviously with his ability to attack closeouts and how long and active he is, he covers a lot of ground, and he demands a lot of attention. So I think just making others better. Once you draw two defenders, get off that thing. Get someone else a shot.
That is Billy Donovan III earlier today at practice. Advocate Center, Goat?
Advocate.
Get ready for them Summer League games, and parentheses, dear God, genes don't lie. I mean, you watch that dude, you listen to that dude talk,
okay, I got
the
that.
facial expressions, the mannerisms.
Yeah.
That Billy Donovan contributed to that human being existing.
Correct.
Unquestionably.
There's a percentage in there for sure.
Yeah. But so talking a bit about what he's seen from Modest, and he said something about Modest that Modest said himself in, I think, Modest's interview at yesterday's Summer League practice when Modest was asked about first impressions on Noah Essengay and what it takes to be good in this league. Mm-hmm. And he said, it's about loving the game and caring about getting better at the game. And Modest said, I'm here early. I'm here early all the time. And I've seen Noah here early. Mm-hmm. And Billy Donovan just validated what Modest said about himself, which is, Modest, since the offseason started all summer long, he's been here. Mm-hmm. He's been working, which you love to hear as a Bulls fan who has high hopes and hanging a lot of their remaining sanity on Modest getting better than he is now.
In our building.
No, that's exactly what I liked about him coming in his rookie year, is that you knew he was a worker, and he knew he wanted to do that all the time. Even when we had the interview with him and he walked us through about what he does, Yeah, definitely. But he walked us through about what he does, and it was basically, I work out, I go home, I sleep, I go work out again, I come home, I eat, and then I get another workout in. And I do it 5 days a week. And then I might play a video game after that. That's exactly how it should be and how you get better at what you're doing. So I'm sure that excites the Bulls for sure, and the coaches. Nobody is going to be more excited about a young guy coming in early than a coach, because the coach is usually the first person there. So seeing somebody already there working, he's already thinking in his head, okay, how can I get this kid the ball? What can I do for him? You know what I mean? So you're getting little inside stuff that you probably wouldn't get if you showed up at a regular time. Not there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
But it's just really cool, you know what I'm saying, to hear your second-year guy is the one that is always there at the gym working. People are going to follow that, especially if success follows the work.
So, I think, talking about Modest working on a part of his game that he didn't do a lot of in his rookie year minutes, when you're talking about ball handling responsibilities and maybe seeing a glimpse of that in Summer League. Obviously, as a Bulls fan, you look forward to that. We hope we see it. Because what we did see from Modest was mostly an off-ball threat.
Yeah.
Not just catch and shoot, but a guy who seems to have really good instincts as far as when to make some off-ball cuts that are lethal because of his finishing ability, his verticality, his height. But we also saw glimpses of Modest having the confidence to put the ball on the floor his rookie year. Mm-hmm. You want to see more of that, or at least I certainly want to see more of that.
Yeah.
Then it's just a matter of talking about, okay, the Summer League roster is one thing. We've got Giddey, who presumably, we just spent some time talking about his contract, but we still got Ayo, we still got Kobe, we re-signed Tre Jones. It's is there more of a equal opportunity offense that can exist that Billy, I think, has tried to steer them towards in the post, DeMar, Zach era, where Vooch can be one of those equal opportunity ball handlers, a guy who can bring the ball up the floor even at times.
Yeah.
I'm I would say somewhere between skeptical and cautiously optimistic that we'll see that at some point this season. But again, if Billy Donovan, senior, not the third, decides that that's something that Modest isn't ready for out of the gate this season, then that's something we'll have to wait for.
That's absolutely right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just think like that's the trajectory. Like we talked about this dating back to when Dalen was in his second summer league, and we got an opportunity to see him with the ball in his hands, and like it didn't go great, admittedly, for Dalen. But I think he learned a lot about himself and what he needed to work on in that situation. But like that's kind of the question I was asking him is like, is there an expectation that these guys are supposed to take a big step forward as a lottery pick in their second summer league? And like to me, the answer is absolutely yes. Last year we saw, according to Synergy, 49 total possessions of Modest Buzelis running pick and roll. That's it. 49 total possessions over the course of the entire year, 30 isolation possessions. So not even 100 times did he have the opportunity to create for himself, either with a screen or in isolation. And like, it's just hard to know if a guy can really be an offensive driver if he's not doing it. And so I think this is a real opportunity for him to do that. And that's what Bulls fans should be excited about, that Modest is going back for a second year, because he didn't have to do that. I think he really wants to do that. My guess is that he will play one game, maybe two, but I think they would definitely call it after two if they let him play. It's a back-to-back, I think, Friday, Saturday. But like this is the opportunity to see what more can he do. And I think as a second-year lottery pick, playing against some of these other guys, like he has to stand out, and I think he will. We obviously got the response from that. It's like it's new for him. He does not have a lot of experience of it. And so I'm not expecting him to like, score 30 and have 10 assists every game. But like, I just want to see him have the ball in his hands, creating offense, making quick decisions. That's what the like spot up, catch and shoot, or attack off the closeout, make quick decisions. That's what that is training you up for, to be able to make quick decisions with the ball in your hands.
Sure.
And now he's got an opportunity to do that. That is a big deal for Modest. And I think that's why they are sending him there. I think he wants to really thrive in that. He wants to step up to that challenge and meet it. I think he's more than capable of it. I do think it's going to be, as Billy Donovan said, especially with the tone that we just heard him, like it's going to be a work in progress. He's not going to be great right away, but can we see some signs? Can we see progress? Can we see him with some impressive moves, whether it's just like step back threes or beating guys off the dribble? Like that's the stuff that we really need to find out what is in there. We didn't have a lot of opportunity to see that last year. They took it really slow. And then once he got in, it was more play finishing, having an advantage created for him, and then keeping the advantage alive or finishing the play. Like now's the opportunity for him to create the advantage. And that's what separates role players from good players or great players.
Yeah, two things. One, the logic guy in me obviously just wants to see what he's worked on, and what he's doing better, and all those things you just said is absolutely correct. I just want to see, does he have that twitch now? Does he have that little handle now? It's those little things I'll be looking at for sure. The meathead Bulls fan in me wants 31-10 immediately.
Same.
Like 31-10. I want him to ball the hell out. That's what I want. You know what I mean? I want to see him do his thing. Matt, you remember when we sat there and watched him dunk like 58 times during that summer league, and just how exciting that was to sit and watch that young man do that. That's what I want. I want domination from Modest Buzelis. That's exactly what I want. So I'm putting that on him right now. Second thing, were you there when he was at Advocate?
No.
Okay, because I wanted to add. Well, let me ask you this, because I know you saw it. Does he look bigger? Like how? Because they've talked about the muscle
He does look
gain,
bigger. But I actually just saw a tweet from Drew Stevens.
Shout out, Drew.
What up, Drew?
From the Bigs, our guy, who posted the summer league roster last year and this year. Last year, Modest was listed at 6'10", 209, and this year he's listed at 6'9", 196.
What?
So he's lost some weight and some height, according to this. So I don't know exactly
Why do I feel
what
like
his
some
actual
faulty
weight is.
Bulls organizational clerical work is at fault here?
It's been like
There's no way.
it's been 2 months,
6'9".
2.5 months since the end of the regular season. I'm sure he's like took a week off and then like got back in the gym. It's hard to put on like 20 pounds of muscle in 2 months. Like he's just not going to do that.
It
I'd
is,
lose
but
an inch,
even the
too.
picture that surfaced, I think he posted it to his own Instagram account of him holding his all-rookie second-team trophy.
Yes.
His arm, you could tell, it looks a little bit musclier.
It was veiny.
I'm sure he
had
has.
some veins in it.
It had the veins.
I'm sure he has been working hard. But I also think that he's just like his frame he's like got narrow shoulders, narrow hips. He's super long and he's super skinny and thin right now. I don't think he's got the like frame to eventually become Giannis.
Right.
So I just think that's going to be like, I mean, Giannis is like a one of one all-time like developmental story. I think he's going to add some weight. I think he's going to be able to like have a stronger core, be able to play through contact a little bit more, but I don't think he's going to like get huge this summer. That's going to be like a multi-year process.
Right. Real quick before we move on to our next topic, you posted a video of their 12th pick from this year's draft, Noah Essengay, getting shots up, working with some of the coaches at the end of today's practice. If you want to give that video a look, you can go find it, Will_Gottlieb, on the Twitter machine. Ugh. Stroke looks pure in form, but as you said to me,
a little
slow.
Yeah, he missed like, I don't know. So one of the things that Billy Donovan III was saying was that they have a drill where you have 5 spots, 5 threes from each spot, 5 spots. Yeah. So 25 total threes. And if you make 20 of them, you get to like hit this gong. That's like, I don't know. It's just like a camaraderie thing.
Sounds very bald.
So he was doing that. And like he missed a handful, but then he like made 5 or 6 in a row at the end. So I think he's like going to be inconsistent. He's not really a shooter.
Sure.
The form looks good, certainly not broken, and he's going to need to speed up the release. I asked him about that a little bit today, and he was just saying, like, we're just kind of working on the same stuff, like just getting the motion corrected and his form. And so I think it's going to be a work in progress, but I just don't think he is like, we talk about shooters versus guys who can shoot. I think he is hopefully going to be a guy who can shoot, but I don't think he's going to be a shooter, and that's okay.
I agree.
All right, last thing on the agenda today, and by the way, hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. Katie,
5 from
still
100
looking for the likes. Yep, and we got more votes on the poll than likes.
I want 5 more.
Unacceptable.
Just 5 likes to 100, guys. Just 5.
The podfather himself, Bill Simmons, was chatting with his pal Ryan Russillo on one of their recent episodes. And guys, this is one of my favorite things. When big national names in media call out the Bulls for what they are and what they are doing. Yeah. Bill Simmons and Russillo were talking about, and they did it for both East and Western conferences, which teams do you not want to be? Which teams have the bleakest outlooks for the back half of this decade, the remainder of the 2020s? And Russillo, I thought, had a strong take with his choice of the Toronto Raptors for some recent financial commitments they've made. Mm. Bill Simmons, however, chose the Bulls. Katie, if you will.
What roster, situation, picks, contracts, assets, everything, who would you not want to be for the rest of the 2020s if you could pick one team? I have mine. What's yours?
The next 4 years, 5 years, I don't want to be Toronto. I don't want to be Toronto because even though Scotty Barnes is better than some of the other team's best players, it's $38.5 million for him. It's $38 million for Brandon Ingram. It's $32.5 million for Quickly. It's $28 million for RJ Barrett. Pirtle, who's fine, $20 million. That's going to go up with the extension. There's no moves here really for Toronto. And all of these players other than RJ are under contract for the next 3 years. They're doing a lot of A-level spending on like B- guys.
My number one was Chicago. I stared at it.
This is your least favorite one.
Yeah,
Chicago.
Here's why.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't love a single guy in their roster. Maybe Buzelis. At gunpoint, yeah. I like Buzelis. Well, is he going to make an All-NBA team? I don't know. They have $85 million in expirings this season, right? So you think like, look out for the Bulls, summer of 2026. They've just never been that team. We've never seen it. They haven't paid the luxury tax in forever. Kobe White's about to be a free agent. That scares me. Like, what is his next contract? I just don't know what this team is. Like, if I'm a Bulls fan, what am I excited about? My owners have already made it very clear to me we're never going to really spend money. I just don't really know what this team is other than a team that's going to go 40 and 42 every year. So that's my number one pick.
When I heard Bill Simmons say, if I'm a Bulls fan, I don't know what I'm excited about, it punched me in the gut and the heart like simultaneously. Yeah. Because I immediately said to myself the first time I watched that, spot on. Yeah. And then immediate second thought was, oh no, I co-host a Bulls podcast. Crap. We're trying to get Bulls fans excited about something all the time. That's part of our job, is to find things to be enthused about with this organization. Sure. And I heard Bill Simmons say that, and I was like, yep, that's how I have felt for a while now. I point to the lie, because I don't see one in what he said.
I think for me, the gut punch was when he said a team that's going to go 40 and 42 every year. And that one, I was like, ooh, because that was like
39 and 43, Bill. Excuse me.
It is a lot of data to back up that point right there that you just said. And that's what kind of hit me right in the gut. Like, no matter how much I love this team or love the players on this team, reality will slap you across the face hard. And it's been doing that the past 3 seasons for this squad. So, yeah, man, just hearing the Bulls being spoken about like this on the national level, obviously it's never good and you don't like it. But like you said, Matt, like we're not ones to lie here. Like where's the lie that is being told? He pretty much said everything that was the truth. And, you know, of course it's his feeling as to why he doesn't like them, but he's backing them up with facts as to why, you know what I'm saying, it's not the team for him. But, yeah, man, it's my team. I love the Bulls. As you all know, I love them. I adore them. I'm going to ride with them until I can't ride with them no more. But, yeah, reality is reality, and truth is truth. And they're not in the best of places right now. We still have some hope right now, especially with the draft pick that the Bulls just got with Noah Essengay. You definitely have hope with the guy like Marks of Buzelis. You have hope with a guy like Josh Giddey as well. So those things give me a little more hope than they would a Bill Simmons, you know, who has his own team, you know, that he focuses on. But for me, those are the things that I look at that give me a little hope on this squad right here, where I'm like, oh, okay, we might be really entertaining as far as running up and down the floor, and Ayo Dosunmu with that as well, as far as scoring a lot of buckets and having some entertaining form of basketball. But as far as making deep runs and stuff like that in the playoffs, I don't know about that yet, man.
As somebody who's more so, you know, you're media, not fan, like, do you agree with his take and or Rusilla's? Like, how do you frame it in the question being posed? Which team, you know, is in the worst spot in the East for the next 5 years? Do you think it's the Bulls? Do you think, because, you know, I aggregated that from our CHGO Bulls account and asked what Bulls fans felt, and Bulls fans feel very differently, but some threw a lot of different Eastern Conference teams out there who they think are in a worse position than the Bulls, and Hornets is one I heard a lot. What do you think, Coach?
Hey, Julia.
I mean, it is, I think, subjective to a certain degree. Am I going to like sit here and defend the Bulls on like the fact that they're onto a like dynastic run? No, like they're not. And I tend to agree with the general concept, as I've said and written many times, that this is like a team that is stuck in the middle, unwilling to do the things that are challenging and difficult and hard to get out of that through the bottom, and not good enough to really be competitive. So at a certain point, I just think building through the middle is a really hard, if not impossible thing to do. At the same point, like, it's not like there's not nothing here. Like, I think 2 years ago, when it was like, Levine, you're stuck in this contract and he was hurt, and DeRozan is like, you know, they passed up on opportunities to trade him, and Lonzo Ball was still hurt. Like, to me, that was a much worse time because there wasn't any sort of pathway out. Right now, at least there's like a young core. Like, I know I've had criticisms of Giddey, but like he was really exciting to watch last year. I think Essengay and Modest are going to be exciting players to watch. Kobe has been a great story. Ayo's a great personality and a very solid player. Like, they've got some guys here. They've got flexibility. They haven't locked into anything yet. And I'm not like sitting here defending them to the point where I think they're going to like go win some championships, but I don't think this is nearly as bad as it was 2 years ago when they refused to trade anybody for the third straight year. And when they were locked into all these contracts that they couldn't move and just had no interest in pivoting. And they've pivoted, and it hasn't gone perfectly. There's been things that I disagree with. But I don't think that this is like the same situation as, and some teams have gotten out of it too. Like the Clippers this time last year looked like a disaster, but then they went on 150 games. The 76ers right now look like they've got $60 million of Embiid on the books for the next 5 years, and he's just not going to play. Like, they've got Maxey, they've got some guys, but it's like, it's hard to imagine a situation like that because the Bulls don't have any like seriously debilitating contracts. They're not locked into having no flexibility. And I don't think they're a finished product. I think they are, in fact, far away from that. And they have to continue to like do good things and make the right decision and like build the right way. And maybe they do that, maybe they don't. But I don't find it to be quite that dire anymore.
Well, that's promising. There's some spin. There's some silver on that cloud.
It's a life raft.
Rob, one of our ride or dies in the comments, saying, let's be serious. How many minutes of Chicago basketball has he really seen? Referencing Bill Simmons, I assume.
I feel like the last game he watched was like the Lakers game when he was like raving about Buzelis and Giddey.
Yeah.
And then he hasn't said anything about the Bulls, and now this.
Correct. But I mean, Bill Simmons is a dude who has written books, plural, about the NBA and his affinity for the NBA and not just the Boston Celtics.
True.
Does he talk about the Boston Celtics a lot? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But this dude knows NBA basketball.
He does.
And whenever he or other large national scale NBA potters are talking about the Bulls in like the what the hell are they doing light, I as a Bulls fan appreciate that because I feel like they get away with a lot.
That's real.
While that stuff's going on because nobody is paying attention. You're the Chicago Bulls. People should be paying attention. Remember when you were a big market dynasty?
Chicago Bulls.
You're the Chicago freaking Bulls, guys.
Man.
Come on now. All right. But we move forward. We got NBA Summer League around the corner. We will continue to talk about that, what to expect from Noah Essengay, and anything else that comes up, whether it be the deal getting done or more people throwing out reports, whispers, slop, rumors, whatever, about the Josh Giddey situation. We will be here tomorrow live again, 4 p.m. Central, to break down any and all of the latest, whether it be free agency or Summer League related. In the meantime, read GOAT stuff, allchgo.com. Become a diehard so you can read all the very best of it. Will_Gottlieb is where you can follow him. Big Dave, bow, BWL Sports. Bow. I'm Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO_Bulls. Shout out to the queen of the controls, the one and only Katie Duffy. Katie, poll? July, fireworks.
There was a poll. It was when is it no longer acceptable to blow off fireworks? The winner was July 5th.
July 5th is the last acceptable day?
No, July 4th is the last acceptable day.
Exactly.
I voted
I'm with
never.
Will.
Yeah.
Because I'm old and cranky now.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was a crazy pyro. I loved fireworks. I would travel across the Indiana state border to buy them and then bring them back to Illinois illegally. I got in trouble for hiding a huge stash of them in my parents' basement. They were like, you could burn the house down. And I was like, but I'm not going to burn the house down. But now, these days, when I hear a bunch of fireworks going off around the 4th, I'm like,
Yeah.
enough with the noise.
Yeah.
I don't even have a dog. That's usually the people who are like, oh, you're scaring my dog. I don't have a dog. I'm still just like, quiet. Hush. We will talk to y'all tomorrow, Bulls Nation. Appreciate you. Hit the like on your way out. See you. Be good.
Peace to Philly. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.